Are systems necessary in business? Hi, I'm Brian Pombo. Welcome back to Brian J. Pombo Live. Kind of a silly question if you've been involved in business at any point, especially managing, running a business, starting a business, owning a business. There's such an importance to systems, but I think one of my favorite new ways of describing it I found in this book. And this isn't a book review, but I wanted to mention this one part. If I haven't before, there's one part in this book, the 4 disciplines of execution, by these 3 gentlemen here. For one thing, it's a very good book, and we'll get into that another time. But I wanted to discuss this section. This has got to be probably the first chapter when they're discussing the whirlwind, and they talk about this throughout the book. But I love the term, the whirlwind. It's all one word, whirlwind, and just listen to this part here. It's the real enemy of execution is your day job. We call it the whirlwind. It's the massive amount of energy that's necessary just to keep your operation going on a day-to-day basis. And ironically, it's also the thing that makes it so hard to execute anything new. The whirlwind robs from you the focus required to move your team forward. So, and they go on to explain that it's a necessity. It's a thing that has to happen. There are parts in all businesses that are ongoing. And those ongoing pieces of any form of business, and you'll have different sectors throughout your entire business, no matter how large or small your business is. There are sectors that have to have system attached to them, and they work rather mechanically. Now, for your business to really grow and be a real living thing, they have to move beyond just the systems. But you need the systems. You need the systems to allow the room to be able to expand and move on and imagine and grow into new things. And oftentimes, business owners and anybody that's managing a business will put too much pressure on employees and the other people involved in the business to not only do what they're currently doing, but also to do more of things that are new, and to constantly be adding new things without having enough structure to make the old things predictable. There's certain parts that have to keep moving no matter what in all businesses. As long as you're bringing in money, there are pieces that have to keep moving. And obviously the most that you can pull humans out of that equation. So whether you have actual physical mechanics or software, virtual mechanics that help run things, the machines behind things, the more you can have them take on the whirlwind, take and systemize them. A computer program is a system, if you think about it. It has a very predictable mathematical way of functioning, and it either produces what you want on the other end or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, you got to get in there and tweak it to make it do what it's supposed to do. It's a way of thinking of anything, but it's a machine. And there's nothing wrong with having certain people fill in the parts of that machine where necessary, but in the long run, you want to do your best to remove people out of the mechanics of business and allow them to be human and grow a little bit further beyond that when it's necessary and when they have the right, cognitive ability and so forth. System is what makes all growth possible. So you would not have had, and the classic thing that people always play back to is McDonald's, because here you have a system that it actually works best when you have the least educated people in charge, the least knowledgeable people, the least experienced people in charge of running the whole thing. And going from top to bottom, everything is built to have a predictability and to be done at the lowest IQ level possible. And that's not a hit on anybody that's working at McDonald's. It's just a fact. They made it to where it can be done very simply by most people. And because of that, it functions. It continues to function. Now, does it produce a high quality product? Does it make our world a better place? I'm not going to get into that right now. That's not necessary. Does it produce profit for everybody involved, which is not just the home corporation, but thousands upon thousands of business owners across the world who own franchises that produce a profit for them, all because of system. There's a system to franchising. There's a system with the real estate and so forth. If you've seen The Founder, you get a little taste of some of the magic behind the scenes as far as McDonald's goes. But there's that system that runs the day to day, and you can see, especially when a large company lacks system, there chaos ensues. Either it's because a system has not been applied, or a system just is not functioning properly, and no one has gone in to fix it. The software is broken. System is a major part of growth in business, and when a business staggers, it's because they're not being system-based. Now, being system-based is a huge part of what I work on when I'm looking at purchasing a business, looking at helping someone sell a business, or looking at going in and making it, changing the whole dynamics of a business. When I'm partnering up with a business to take it one step further, there's usually an issue with system in the way. There's usually something that isn't being systemized, or needs to be systemized, or well, that's the same thing. That there's could be a place where there is already system, but the system's broken, and that's when you got to go in and fix it. But you got to know what you're looking for. So the important thing is to know it's needed, and then from there, watch for the pieces that need to be systemized and the pieces that need to be made more organic, so to speak, and growing. System needs to have stability involved with it. That's what being system-based is all about. Oftentimes, really new companies don't fully comprehend the power of system, and if you've got an entrepreneur that's in charge, they are going to fight system every step of the way, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous. Not because they're an entrepreneur and that they fight systems, and we've talked about that earlier, that's necessary, but that you need systems in order for them to be able to continue growing. It's this crazy paradox that comes on. Well, it's a paradox of life, but it's also becomes crystal clear as you're growing a business, that you need things to have structure, and you also need somebody that knows how to destroy structure. And you need them pointed in opposite directions so that a business can grow and function properly. Hopefully that makes sense to you. This is why it's one of the three pillars of BrianJPombo.com. First one being relationship reliant, second one being system based, and the third one we're going to talk about tomorrow. Before we get there, go check out my book, 9 Ways to Amazon Proof Your Business. Because of this allows a person to be able to grow outward and to be able to instill new systems that make you competition proof. So it has a creative end to it in the very beginning, and then you can build systems on what we're talking about here. In fact, I have a whole chapter on it. 9 Ways to Amazon Proof Your Business. You can go purchase a copy, or you can buy a free copy at my website, AmazonProofBook.com. Will take you straight to that page, AmazonProofBook.com. That's all I have for tonight. Tomorrow we'll be covering the third pillar of BrianJPombo.com. In the meantime, get out there and let the magic happen.